makes Today's healthcare environment makes good communication among patients, families, caregivers harder and harder to achieve. Hospital stays are shorter, medical care is more technologically complex, resources are constrained, and there is a growing need for patients and families to have more information about and involvement in care decisions. Good evening to one and all and join with us in today's webinar. We are delighted to greet you all and to have you in the realm of learning and aiming to be better for tomorrow. I'm Isra and my fellow Preeti. We are heads of creative team for Indian Medical Association, Medical Student Network Telangana, and we'll be the facilitators for the event today. Today's event is based on the importance of effective communication in healthcare practice. Hospital is distressing for patients and their families. It can be scary for the patients to question what is happening or to ask more information. And this feeling of intimidation is often compounded by the loss of functionality, which is linked to loss of control. As healthcare leaders, we have the privilege of meeting and caring for individuals during what may be the most vulnerable period in their lives. It is our responsibility to advocate for and ensure the safety of patients when they are under our care, and importantly, to equip them with the resources they need for a healthy recovery. We have the opportunity to preserve the dignity of our patients in the face of illness and uncertainty through patient-centered communication. To meet patients in their moment of need, communication structures must extend far beyond the four walls of the healthcare facility to reflect the complexity of today's healthcare journey. Good communication is vital to dignified care, and our patients deserve nothing less. That being said, we would like to introduce our speaker and greet him, Dr. Mohammed Sarosh Ahmed, an enthusiastic and reputable doctor joining our esteemed organization for today's event. We welcome you, sir. He's an associate professor of social and preventive medicine in Deccan College of Medical Sciences, Hyderabad. He has an experience of 11 years provided by 4 international journal publications and 2 national journal publications. He has also worked with World Health Organization for 2 years and has been recognized and awarded at state and national conferences. We are very honored to have you here, sir, and are grateful for the efforts you take for educating us into better learners and better doctors of coming future. Now we would like sir to speak.
Thank you, Isra. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. All right, we have how many, like 58, almost 59 participants here in this wonderful webinar or training session, I can call it, because there won't be any presentation here or a lecture here. We'll be having an one-to-one interaction. So be fully available here. Okay, keep everything aside and let us learn something which is really valuable for your life. All right.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Let me just welcome each one here. I'm just opening my gallery view. Okay, we have Sampriti, okay, Muhammad Isa, Seema, Aisha, and we have Said Wasif. Okay, please, I request everyone to on your cameras such that you are fully present here, and I know that you are fully present too. We can have a wonderful interaction. Let me tell you, you'll enjoy this session. It's not a like cumbersome. That's not what I want to create this as. Okay, so feel free, relax. Okay, there's no attendance here, no punishment here, right? So just relax on your camera, be fully here. Let's give 1 minute for everyone such that everyone takes care of everything and be on camera such that we can begin. It's Mazhar, Hafsa, Fatima, Zuha, Aisha, Sumaira, okay, Arya Patel, Juwaria Fatima, Sana. Great. All the wonderful budding doctors are here. on your camera. Yes, thank you. Please on your camera, everyone. There's one exercise. There's a lot of exercises we're going to do. We're going to do some fun exercises also, which will really help you in the real life situations. So for that, you'll be needing to be on camera also. Okay. Does everyone know how to pin your own video?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Vasif, can you just tell people here who may not know how to pin your video?
So when you see your own window or your tab, so you see mute and you see 3 horizontal dots. There, when you click on the 3 horizontal dots, on the third most bottom, you'll see pin video just above hide self-view. So you can pin your own video. On phone, it will be a little different, but you just have to hover over your own window and then you'll see pin screen.
On phone, you have to, I think, double click your own image in the participants in gallery view, right? And you can see yourself. Okay, we'll have a mirror exercise actually. Okay, in this session. So it's a really exciting exercise which you can practice as a doctor before any procedure, before anything that you want to do. So for that, I just wanted to be well versed with that. So I asked Vasif here. Thank you so much, Vasif, for creating that. If you didn't follow, again, I'll just repeat on your name. There's mute option on the image, and beside that, there are 3 dots. If you're on a laptop, and when you put the 3 dots, you just need to pin it. When you pin it, you can see yourself. That's will act like a mirror for you. Okay, when we do that. All right. So right now, I want you to select the view of speaker's view, please. On the right top, you have an option of speaker's view, gallery view like that. So just select the speaker's view such that you can be fully with me. And I won't be, that's why sharing any screen to avoid any distractions. Right. So many of them are owning their videos. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that's being courageous, not hiding behind, not backbencher anymore. All right. Okay. Okay, guys. So welcome each one of you once again to your training session on communication skills. So what is the right way to talk to the patients and what are the communication skills you need to practice in any healthcare setup or healthcare center. All right. So I'll be I am Dr. Mohammed Sarosh Ahmed. Like Isra has introduced me so well. Thank you so much again. And I want to really welcome each one here. For that, I thank IMA, that is Indian Medical Association, Medical Students Network, Telangana chapter, and Isra for the person who has invited me here on behalf of the body, my enthusiastic students, Mehdi and others for having me here in this need of the hour training session for our budding doctors. Welcome each one here. Okay, so now
we're delighted to have you here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So I would now, being off video also communicates something. Though you're not speaking like everyone, I'm saying being off video also is communicating several things. One could be like, let me just hear this, I'm not interested in this. Or it could be like, oh my God, how am I, people will see me. Oh my God. I cannot come on video. So there's several things comes in the mind when you're even off video. It's just one simple act. So come here, the communication aspect, I just stressed here, how you're communicating being off video also. So request again to be on video, everyone. Let me check. Be courageous.
I think everyone's running for the hills when it comes to switching on their videos.
It's so tough with just one button
They're
there.
not used to switching on the videos during online classes. And now they're
Right. Got that. So just look at what is stopping you, right? If you can discover that, consider that is stopping you everywhere. Okay, even in your studies, even in being on the stage, that's what you need to break the barrier. Okay, you can use a mask or something if you want to just don't reveal your identity, anything like that. You can just put that, because it's looking like I'm speaking to like black boxes here and some people here. So I have people to interact with and some black boxes to interact with. Okay, so with some number or some name. So break that. This is not your class, not a formal class where you have to be off video. Okay. All right. So on this Sunday, okay, great. On this beautiful Sunday evening, you all could have been doing anything, like watching a movie on Netflix, or like relaxing with friends, spending time with family, or like reading a book maybe, or preparing, some of them maybe preparing for the exams, have the schedules put up and the NEET exam, many things. But you chose to be here. I really want to acknowledge you for that. Okay, thank you so much. So let me give a bit more detail about myself. Okay, like Isra has shared, I'm associate professor, and I also practice in my clinic in the evenings, helping people manage diabetes. My patients really love me. Most of the time, they bless me by placing their hand on my head, and they leave like that. And one of them also, I remember recently, actually dedicated a shairi, and he was like on top of his voice and saying, I would like to share one shairi on you, like that. And there was a shairi session going on in my clinic, that kind of. So I'm really excited with the patients, and that is visible in their experience. So I see to it that they have an extraordinary customer experience. Okay. So a little bit more about myself, where I got my medical training, that is my MBBS is from Prathima Institute of Medical Sciences, Karimnagar. Then I got my master's MD and DNB from Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College, Belagavi. Then I took this training in communication and leadership from a wonderful organization called Landmark Education, which really added whatever I had with me. And then I found my passion is to make people lead a powerful and extraordinary life, able to communicate what they want and wherever they want. All right. So also, let me tell a little how this evening will go. Okay. The intention of this session is to learn two things. One, what's the right way to speak to a patient? Second, to improve the communication skills in a healthcare center. So for this, we have two parts to this session. In the first part, we will discover what communication is. We'll go in deep, okay? And let me tell you, there are some great physicians who are masters of communication, and because of that, they're great. So that kind of league I'm talking about, you could be in that league right anytime if you want to. Only thing you require is the best ability to communicate. All right. So my experience I'll be sharing, and also you will be delving into what would be the right way to communicate as we go on. Okay. In the first session, like I said, the first part of this session, I'm committed that you take something of value that you will be applying in your practice and in your life. Also, not only in your practice as a doctor, but also in your life with your friends and family members, you'll be able to communicate better, inshallah. In the second part, we'll be doing some mocks. Okay, in between also we'll have some mocks, the patient and doctor encounters, and have fun by learning that. Okay, and this session will end at 5:30 p.m. Okay, so let me have some interaction here. I would like to know anyone, you know how to raise your hand? Yeah, I can see. Okay, no. Yes, I want all those who are not from Telangana. Can you raise your hand? Are there any Isra in the registered members?
Sir, actually, I'm not aware. I haven't gone
Okay,
through.
got that. Let's hear from our people here. Anyone who is not from Telangana, please raise your hand. To raise your hand is an option in the reactions where you can just smileys and all are there, right? You can just click on raise hand there. Right. So I assume all of the Telangana, right? Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Just wanted to know, such that I know who is participating. Okay. So I got one. Okay, that's a thumbs up. All right. Israel, let me know whenever my video is shaking or my voice is breaking. Okay, I'll go off video. Okay, I'm getting
Yes,
a
sir.
message in between. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so let us interact with some of you here. Okay, anyone who'd like to introduce yourself, just brief, which college you are from or what are you doing presently in medicine? Anyone? You can unmute yourself. Yeah, Mohit, go ahead.
Medical student from
Mohit, I would
Mohit,
like
not able to hear you.
to speak a little louder. Your voice is very faint.
Yes. Good afternoon, sir. I'm Mohit Joshi. I'm a first-year medical student at Mahavir Institute of Medical
Hello.
Science. Gaurav.
Wow. Thank you. Really appreciate you, Mohit, for speaking out. Okay, that's the first step in communication. You did just that. Great. What are you looking for, Mohit, in this session? What do you want to learn?
Communication is one of the most important skills for a doctor. If I'm from Maharashtra, but currently I have shifted to medical. The main
Speak
thing.
again, Mohit.
So the main thing which a doctor or a clinician should know is how he or she should communicate with his patient. And I am a resident of Maharashtra, but currently I am pursuing my degree in Telangana. So the most important barrier which I have currently is language barrier, because of which yet I am in my first year, but soon when I will be having my clinical sessions in hospital going on. So that time language will be one of the most will be a barrier. So I will be having a problem. So how I should communicate with the patient at that time, or even if I'm not in Telangana, if I'm in some other place, then I should know how I should tell a patient that he or she is ill. Even that is a skill. You cannot directly tell a person that he or she is suffering with some really he's suffering with cancer or something like that. You cannot tell directly to his family. So that is also important.
That. Thank you for sharing that, Mohit. Yes, absolutely, really important. The language barrier in communication. Yes, we'll address that. Thank you, Mohit, for that question. Yes, who's next? Let us hear a couple. Yeah, very good, Charita. Did I pronounce right?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Charita Vasireddy, sir. I'm in Gandhi Medical College. I've joined the first year batch of 2020, sir.
Wow. Welcome, Charita. Wonderful to have you here. I'm really bored
It's so
you
nice
are
to
that you
be
are.
here, sir.
Thank you. Got that, Charita. What would you like to learn here?
Sir, whatever
What
I
would you
can
like
learn,
to
sir.
looking
Whatever
forward?
I can learn.
Oh,
It's something I'm
wonderful.
looking for something I can't learn from textbooks. Like this is what we get from experience, like talking to you, sir.
Got that. Thank you, Charita. Sure. Very great that you're open to learn anything that we won't get in the textbook. Totally. Let us give you that, inshallah. Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Charita. Yes. Who else? We'll take one more sharing and then we'll continue. Isra, how about you introducing yourself?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Isra, and I'm currently pursuing MBBS in third year from Shadan Institute of Medical Sciences, Hyderabad. And yeah, I feel like this is a very important topic to discuss because this is not something we can learn from textbooks or classes. After 3 years into MBBS, I just feel like I just have textbook knowledge, and I think textbook knowledge only you can retain it around 40 to 30% after your exams or before, you're just cramming up and you somehow clear up academically, you clear up. But main thing is how you address your patients. This is something I would like to address. This is very important, I feel. Doctors are really good clinically, is what I have seen. But I feel like doctors lack empathy, is what I have seen up till now. And I think the most important thing for a doctor is to be very empathetic towards their patients. And they should be able to address and understand the feeling of the patient, of what they're going through and what the family is going through, and be able to relate and make the patient comfortable. Mostly what I have seen is just doctors come, they give the diagnosis, and that's it. They are not bothered with how the patient is able to take it. And I feel this is the reason why there's a lot of chaos, especially in the current condition in the hospitals and everything, what is going around in the news. I feel like India and the NMC and the main medical council, they have to really take charge on how to train students to communicate with their patients in every sector. For example, is Telangana, I feel like they should include a subject, Telugu, so that we're able to speak with Telugu patients. Now, for example, just Mohit addressed that he is from Maharashtra, but he's in Telangana right now. So he has a language issue, which is a very, because I don't speak Telugu, even though I'm a resident of Hyderabad, I'm not good. So I can completely understand of what he is going through. He might be able to speak Marathi very well, but he will have an issue understanding Telugu patients. And mostly you see, now you tend to see rural area in the hospitals for around, like, I think 70% of the patients are from rural areas. 30% of the patients are from the urban areas, and they have access to good communication and they speak in English, and they are able to address whatever they have. And I think most of the the patients who come from urban areas, they know what they have. They are very well versed with their symptoms and with Google and everything. But the most important thing is how you address the 70% of the patients that come from rural areas.
Yeah.
So that's my on.
Yeah.
Firstly, mainly is empathy.
Yeah.
And second is language barrier. I think these are the preliminary things which we need to learn.
Absolutely, Isra. So critical, like a bullseye you have hit actually, sharing that what is required right now, right? So let us see that we know so much, right? We learn so much. Empathy since the beginning of the course of medicine, MBBS itself, we know a doctor should be one who empathizes or has empathy towards the patient, right? So, but that in practice, okay, like you shared, really, we don't have that kind of a training in a medical schools or in any school or college, right? We don't have that. Good that you brought that up, Isra. Thank you for sharing that and sharing about yourself also. Really great. All right. I saw Artika also would like to speak. Is it anyone who would like to share one more? We can take one more person. Okay. Wasif, yes, go ahead. Introduce yourself
Good
to
evening,
your
sir.
colleagues. Yeah, good evening, Wasif.
And good evening, everyone. So I'm Syed Wasif Sen. So I'm studying in Deccan College of Medical Sciences. I'm in first year, so 2020 batch. That's about me. And what I aim to learn from the session, and especially I want to see how Sarosh sir puts this forward, is we all know that we are taught how to speak or what is speaking skills and all those skills that are required in ATCOM classes and many classes in textbooks and everything. But what I believe personally, as I've seen throughout my life, that communication is not just about speaking, it's about being understood, to put a point across. And that in speeches and everything, we see that. But in a clinical scenario, I haven't seen anyone actually translating it into that. And I think Sarosh sir, you would perfectly put that forward, how to put effective communication in a clinical situation, how to understand a patient when you have a language barrier. It's not impossible. It's very much possible that you understand a patient when he's speaking in a different language. So I want to see how is that possible and what is the proper way to do it, how not to overspeak or not to misunderstand someone, how to console a patient when he is not from your background. So those skills, I think it will be better taught in this session. So I'm looking forward to that.
Great. Good questions, and thank you for introducing yourself to your people. This is your beautiful community. Okay, I was not aware of this. Like during my MBBS, so this didn't exist, or I was not aware about this. I don't know. Okay, so really, thank you for your question again, Vasif. And yes, ATCOM is brought in place for this reason only, that having communication skills, the language classes be put in every class from the first year onwards, right? So lucky batches like 2020 onwards, you have ATCOM classes. 2019 also had some classes on that. Okay, so yes, you'll be learning more in your college during your rounds also. Okay, this would address most basic question, how to. Okay, and what is not allowing you to. Okay, that I would like to address mainly. Okay, let's give one more opportunity. We have Maria here who has raised her hand. Yes, Maria.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Hope everyone is having a great day. Yeah. So I am Maria Tabassum. I joined MBBS this year, so this is my first year, and I have attended Sarosh sir classes, and the sessions are really good. And I was, I didn't wanted to miss this session also because I know he's a wonderful speaker, and I hope everybody will get a kind of knowledge they are, requiring right now, and this will be really helpful for everyone of us. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Maria. Thank you for being here. Really. Good, good.
Ready has fans.
Okay, thank you. Really, really. I'm so humbled by your gestures, guys. Thank you. So let us actually delve into why we need this communication in the very first place, and some experiences also will share here. Okay. So why do you think, guys? Why do you think we need communication skills? But just now two of them have answered, like we want to like the language they're communicating with. If you're not able to understand that and reply to that or address that, what would happen? Why is the need? Who would like to speak? Please raise your hand and unmute yourself. Yeah, you can unmute yourself. Go ahead. Why? Why do you need communication skills? If not, what will happen? Is there a need actually?
Sir, I would like to speak up. So there
Yes,
wouldn't be
please.
a difference between us, and if in like certain years they're gonna put up robots or something in place of humans, it's the difference between them and us is how we interact, our empathy towards others. So I think that's a very important skill.
Got you. Thank you, Charita. Yes, we have now everything automated. You know, now even the computers are replacing radiologists. You just feed that computer software with an X-ray film image, and it gives a report. You no more need a radiologist maybe in future. So that kind of like, but yes, there is something, the human element needed, right, which will make a difference. Okay, my video is your, just I'll go off video for a while. Are you able to hear me, Isra?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Thank you. So I'll be off video for a while. There's some disturbance here in the net. Okay. So very well said, Charita. Thank you. Anyone else would like to answer? Is there a need for communication skills? If not, what will happen?
Yes, sir. So I'll add one point. Even if I have knowledge, or even if I know everything, but if I don't know how I have to deliver it to my patient or tell my patient that what he or she is suffering with, then my knowledge or my degree will be of no use. Like even if I know
Absolutely.
everything, like a person knows everything, like what like he's aware of what that person is suffering with, but he's not able to understand, or he doesn't have that bonding with the patient. Like I know at very first sight you cannot build a bonding with someone, but a doctor should know like how he has to share his like everything to a patient,
Yeah.
what he has with him.
Yes. Very nice, Mohit. Very
Excuse
well
me,
said.
sir. May
Yes.
I add
Yes,
something?
Afra, go ahead. Afra, then Navya, then Artika. Yes, Afra.
I believe communication is necessary for proper diagnosis and prognosis of the patient.
Okay. Very good. Important for diagnosis. Very good. Navya, would you like to add?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, actually, I am also like Mohit. I am resident of Rajasthan and I am pursuing my MBBS in Telangana. So I am second year student and we are already having our clinical postings. So whenever I go for a clinical posting, I always lag behind. I'm not able to communicate with the patients. I'm not able to take even the history. I have to take help from my Telugu friends. Like the language is the biggest barrier, and also like there is a communication gap I face every time, and I feel very bad for that. Like I'm not able to communicate, understand, and I always lag behind from others. So
Yeah. See how it is impacting your learning process itself, isn't it? I'll just go off video, sorry. It is impacting your learning process itself, isn't it, Navya?
yes, sir, it is impacting a lot.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, very well said. Artika, yeah, we'll take your sharing last, then we'll continue. Yeah, Artika.
Hello, sir. This is Artika. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, Artika. You're from which college? Can you add that also, please?
Hi, sir. I'm a fresher candidate. I'm from SPS Medical College, sir, from Telangana.
Wonderful. Go ahead, Artika.
I think that if we have any lag in communication, we can't treat the patient properly, and this most minor problem also, this may lead to severity because of lag in communication. If we don't know what the patient is saying, we can't treat them.
Absolutely.
Hello?
So the treatment is difficult. Yes, Artika, totally got you. Okay. The treatment is
and one more
difficult. The diagnosis. Yeah, go ahead.
And one more thing is the language problem will be there not only for other state students, mainly in Telugu states, even Telugu people also will get the language problem, mostly in rural areas.
Yeah. Got you,
Because-
Artika. Very big barrier. Yes.
Yeah, because the way of talking in rural areas and urban areas will be completely different, and there will be more difference in slangs also.
Yeah.
And I'm from the
Artika.
same district. Even then also I can't understand some words what the people are saying.
Yeah.
I don't think that doctors should touch in only with hi-fi people. They should know the language of rural area people also,
Yeah.
because they have
Very
to
well
face
put.
patients from all the categories.
Yeah. Very nicely put, Artika. So from the everyone have added so many points here. Like from the way to communicate what the patient is dealing with. Yeah. Difficulty in diagnosis, difficulty in treating, and the consequences. Like one impact the whole learning process about medicine. Learning medicine is itself impacted. Otherwise, now when you are full-fledged doctors, when you're treating in a standalone hospitals on your own, you have seen the recent problems which happened in the very reputed hospital in Banjara Hills, right? So that kind of situations, right? Very, very, very totally because of the communication lagging. Okay, we have to deal with such situations. How to avoid that? Okay, yes, the need is so clear. Thank you for creating that. The need is very clear that communication skills are needed in this hour. Okay, and this will avoid emergency situations like you have seen patient relatives and patients themselves revolting and doing very there's a big problem against the doctor. Whole media is involved, and from the process of art of practicing medicine of healing, it is going to somewhere else. Some other image is being created. The buddy doctors themselves are so scared, like, oh my God, this one incident puts everyone's mind, like, oh my God, if I get that, if I'm in that place of that doctor, how would I deal with? Everyone putting on my face a camera and asking some weird questions. Yeah. So yes, the need is so required in this time right now. So right, really great that you have conducted this session right in this time, Isra and the team. Okay, so let us now, knowing the need, my
Sir,
experience.
I'm really sorry
okay?
to interrupt. Really sorry to interrupt. There's someone called Rida. She has put up something in the chat box, but I would want her to speak up and say whatever she has said in the chat box. We want an interactive session. So Rida, if you're there, I would like you to address whatever you just sent in the chat box.
My video, I just got logged off and I got logged in. Okay, so Rida is communicating us, okay, by chat, okay, that she feels the important thing is taking proper history. And if we have a communication gap, then we won't know the history itself of the medication or the pre-existing congenital complications, which might contract with prescribed medicine, allergic reactions. Very good. Good point, Rida. Okay, yes, we would like to hear from you also next time. Okay, Rida, great, thank you for sharing that. So now let us create, okay, let me create something here for you all. So I was sharing my experience. Okay, so I get some patients, okay, like I am treating diabetes, I'm helping people manage that. So people from other diabetologists or endocrinologists, they come to me, and like very famous endocrinologists in the state, from them, they come to me and say, like, I went to that doctor and that doctor saw my report and he prescribed the medicines and asked me to leave. I didn't speak even a word. and he didn't allow me to speak. And there were like a big queue outside also. And it's very famous doctor, okay, very famous doctor, okay, and the patient gives a feedback that he doesn't listen, okay, he doesn't listen to me. So aren't we like, there's some learning here, guys, okay? There's some learning for each one here. So you, after you become doctors, this is a feedback of our colleague, of our community, okay? Not making him wrong, okay? You will be having like 50 people in the waiting line, and you have a person sitting in front of you, okay? And you may hurry up many a times, okay? That may come up. So are you justifying, are you right? Are you giving that what is required for the patient is what you need to learn also, okay? It's a learning process. So just that one example I just wanted to give. So you don't get great by the number of people you see, you get great by being empathetic and giving time to the patient, listening to them. That's the one learning that you need to imbibe in yourself, okay? So let us see the whole thing, communication, how to speak with the other person, okay? How is one learning that? Aapne kahan se seekha? Where did you learn from? How to communicate? Like, I can share my example. I used to go to a family doctor here nearby. So I used to see how he communicates to me and how he communicates to other patient and my family member who is with me. And I used to catch that. Okay. And one of the doctor, very famous physician who is no more, Dr. Vade sir, he was like such a like when we used to sit there in this waiting room with my mother and my grandmother for a checkup. So we'll be called inside as per number, and then the space is like he's seated on the table, silent, and we are sitting there in front of him. And he says, "Okay, how can I help you?" Like very soft spoken, okay, and when the report comes, he will be totally like impacted by it. If that report is not in like favor, if there's a very terminal illness, anything like that, he showed that empathy on his like face, like he's like, okay, this is what is so, and he cleared what the problem is and gave a referral to a doctor who will actually take care of that in such a nice, polite way. So I really like that. So I learned some part of those communication with how to communicate with patients in that way, or how to communicate itself. So I would like to hear from you guys. One or two, let us have sharings. How did you get to learn how to communicate with patients or with people? Yes, Apriti?
First, good evening, sir. Thank you so much for joining our session. So I'm actually one of the co-team heads along with Isra, so I'm really honored to have you on board here. So like you said, similar to your experience, actually my uncle, he's a general physician as well. And I don't go visit him often, but I got the opportunity to actually stay with him for about 2 weeks. So in those 2 weeks, I was able to see how, like how he changed his, like how he addressed each patient specifically. So I don't know how he remembered it, but he was able to remember, okay, so this patient lived near that park. So he could walk 4 kilometers around that park if he was suffering from diabetes for exercise. Or if that patient, if he lived near a sweet shop, he's like, don't go eat sweets that day. Like he remembered very specific stuff about each patient. So I think that made that patient feel very important and that he mattered. So I think that's one thing that I picked up. And another thing was that his non-verbal communication as well. It wasn't just the way he spoke, like the expressions he held, his body language, and everything that encapsulated it as a whole. I think that was really inspiring for me to watch.
Beautifully put, Sampriti. Very nice example you've given. So we learned from uncle, like for example, you learned from your uncle, who's a physician, and you saw how he actually not only seeing the reports of papers, he used to inquire where he's staying and look at what specific advice I can give for him, which he can actually apply, right? and make the person know that he's important. Wonderful, wonderful, Sampriti. Thank you. Who else? Navya, would you like to share?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yes, Navya.
actually, nowadays I am visiting a psychiatrist. So, in a branch like psychiatry, we need to hear our patients. Like we need to give some time for our patients to speak. So, I am visiting a doctor in Jaipur. So, whenever I enter the room, he'll address you by your name. He'll remember the names, and after that, he'll allow you. Like he'll give you ample time to speak, to convey your problem, and then he'll give you examples. Then he at the end, he'll give you like, he'll satisfy you. Like you will be happy that the doctor heard my problem, the doctor gave me the solution. So like you will be very satisfied after meeting him. So I learned this thing from him.
Superb, Navya. So nicely put. Okay, great experience you have shared, and it's a secret. I'm telling you guys, it is a secret of a very good practice that you can have. The secret is call the patient by name. Again and again, use the name. Okay, Mr. Santosh, how are you doing? Oh, Mr. Santosh, tell me more about it. Okay, don't hold time, use the name. Just have that name be like the person being addressed. Okay, like Mr. also or Mrs. When you add that also, it's really matters. It makes a person it's important for it. Okay, great. Yes, Israel, would you like to share? You raised your hand.
Yeah, yes, sir. I also wanted to know what terminology, whether it's a normal speaking language or whether it's medical, if you speak in a medical terminology, or what terminology would you use in language to address different age group of patients? Different age group is very difficult because we need to satisfy every age group, and to communicate according to every age group is very different, and I feel it's very difficult to communicate with patients that are older. For example, our grandmoms or granddads, they don't tend to listen, they just want to speak. And I've seen it with my own grandmother. She doesn't happen to listen to the doctor at all, she just wants to speak. And to make them understand the consequence of not taking their medications properly, I feel like what a doctor should learn is how to communicate with different age groups. And as Navya mentioned regarding the psychiatry thing, I have heard from so many of my friends having very bad experience with psychiatrists because of communication issues. They don't tend to listen, number one, and second is understand. And because of them being into the psychiatry field, they just address drugs. And that too, they don't realize that they're involving medications that, deal with your hormone levels or deal with your, mostly it's regarding CNS drugs. So I feel like regarding the psychiatry field also, you should address that, how doctors should.
Okay, great. So thank you for those two questions also. Okay, so my question was from where did you learn how to communicate? Okay, and now that you have asked how to communicate different age groups, okay, do we use medical language or a normal language? And when people start speaking everything out, how do you make them realize, okay, taking medicine, compliance with medicine is important, right? That is so critical. Yeah. So, and the second part you have asked is regarding the psychiatry, the branch itself. It's a beautiful branch with wonderful doctors in our country. We have some of the best psychiatrists in the world also. Okay. So, their main job is to listen. Okay, and their session, if you see, there are specific sessions of hour or half an hour sessions, unlike any other field. Okay, they have sessions like that, so they don't talk only drugs. That's one thing. Okay, yes, they are now it's not the image of psychiatry which is built up right now, what you have created. Okay, they only talk about drugs, very bad experiences, many psychiatrists, all that, right? That's the same image everyone is created a whole image of the doctors community as so. Like we have for a particular field or heard from someone about a particular field, okay, and we make one image of it, and that is being carried. So, yes, I'll address both of them through one exercise, okay? That is called how we listen about anything, about a subject or how we listen to patients also. Got you, Isra? So, with respect to time, I would like to add on how you got to learn how to communicate might be from your parents sometimes, right? Like you have seen them talking to people and you like something and you imbibed in yourself and you would like to speak in that way also. Sometimes your siblings you get to learn from, okay? Like from the childhood I'm talking about. You don't get communication skills in MBBS. Okay, you don't develop right on the spot like that. You have actually gained that communication skill. You already have communication skills. Okay, you have it. So from where you got it is to just discover that, be present to who all were there, who contributed to whatever way you are speaking in this way. You are communicating whatever right now with patients, for example, if you had that opportunity to interact already, what is making you actually converse in that particular way. Okay, so keep on discovering. Like I shared, there's some doctors, and then there can be some uncle of some pretty or brothers, sisters, the friends. There's some friends that are very influenced by. We like that kind of speaking, and we take on. Okay, and we try to mimic that also sometimes in our practice also. Okay, so yes, so we got a view of there's some people who are actually inspiring us or actually contributing us to whatever we know about communication. Okay, is that fine? Yeah.
Yes, sir, things are fine.
Yeah. Okay. So how I learned after knowing that, let us see what is communication as such. Let me ask each one of you, and you can just ask yourself, what do you think communication is? So take in the context of a doctor and patient, or in any in an open context, what do you think communication is? If you want to say in one line, what would you say? Raise your hand, unmute yourself. Yes, go ahead, Abdul Rahman. Yes, sharing of
expression of ideas from a person to another.
Wonderful. Expression of ideas from one person to another. Very good. Yes, who else? Masif?
So as I shared before, a one line of a communication would be, in my opinion, to understand and be understood. That is the essence of communication.
Okay, great. To understand and be understood. Yes, Akhil?
I think communication is when you understand what the other person is thinking and the other person understands what's going on inside your head, because we can't see thoughts, and communication, I feel like, is how we express our desires or questions or concerns and how we answer those. So I feel like that's what communication is.
Right. What you, Akhil? You're from which college, Akhil?
Mamata Medical College, Khammam.
Very nice. Great. Thank you for coming up and answering that. Okay, great. Okay, anyone wants to share? One more person? What's communication? Just one line if you want to say.
So I think communication
I'm sure.
helps you to understand what the other person's needs are and makes you understand what the other one is experiencing.
Okay, very good. Nicely put. Okay. So let me say the definition given in dictionary, okay, what communication is. It says the successful conveying or sharing of ideas and feelings. Let me create that again. communication is the successful conveying or sharing of ideas and feelings. All right. That's what communication is. And let me tell you, we all have our own version of communication also. Okay, not wrong, not wrong. Okay, we have our own experiences which actually led to that version of communication that we have. Okay, perfect. So now let us see why this, like the image being built about doctors or when the patient comes, what is coming in between you and that patient? Okay, what is that barrier? Yes, language is a visible barrier. There's some barriers which are not visible. Okay, which really doesn't allow you to communicate or successfully convey your feelings, convey your ideas, and have that discussion. Okay. So let us discover that. So for that, I'll share something here, which I learned in the landmark education. That is, we learn about, or we speak to people through filters. Okay. So Vasif, if you are at home, how will you speak? In front of your father, how will you speak, Vasif? Can you unmute and you just can have a conversation?
Yes, sir. So if I'm speaking to my father, usually because of the busy schedule, it'll be very formal and quick, and it'll be regarding what's needed and what's done, or if I'm sharing some experience of the day. So first of all, you have to greet your father and see if he's in a good mood or not. That is very important, I would say. And also, like, you have to just catch that mood, and then you greet them, and then you ask if you're busy or not. And on regarding that, then you will speak how much or how less. And mostly it should be very respectful. And first of all, elders, they want to speak, and they already have a lot of thoughts regarding you throughout the day. So they would want to convey that in whatever you say, even if you share a joke or something, they'll bring down a whole lecture. So you just regarding you. So
yeah, Vasim, be at, like, you, when you're speaking to your father, you are like polite, you are like formal, right? You speak formally and right and take permission and like that, right? And when you're with your friend, how will you be, Vasim?
It'll be, first of all, I would make the friend, like I would convey and how I talk of how much I like the friend or how are they feeling. So first of all, if they're comfortable, first make them comfortable.
Your best friend, like your best friend, how will you be with him?
Very casual.
Casual, right?
Very
right.
Casual.
Yeah. So if you see Vasif and everyone here, very like wonderful sharing by Vasif. We all have been doing that, right? We pick people, we judge people. Okay. This person is like that, so I should speak in this way. If that person is like that, I should speak in this way only. Okay. You are fixing yourself. Are you an object? Right. Something to discover, okay? Here. So you are speaking to people through a filter or a view. Okay, my father, if I speak in this way, he will respond in this way. So I should not speak in that way. I speak it in this way only. Okay. Even if he's in good mood, you don't know his mood also. Like you start judging his mood. His mood might be good today. So I'll ask that money, pocket money today, maybe. Something, okay? So you, before talking itself, there's some talking here.
Yeah, very
How many
true.
agree? If you are agreeing, just raise your hand. Just wave your hand like this. On online, we'll come to only like this.
Raising both my hands.
Yeah,
especially with Indian parents.
All right, Indian parents. Okay, yeah. So if there are people here who think that what noise Sarosh is talking about, or like I don't have any voice. Okay, that was I'm talking about. What is telling that I don't have any voice? What is he talking about? There's no voice here. already continuously going on and on and on. How this session is, okay, let me not talk, let me talk. So many talks here already there, not allowing you to be fully out there, fully out here, if I can say. So when you are with the patient, consider you are here. Consider you are here. You are not out with the patient. The patient is saying something, and you have already fixed. Some person has come in some dirty clothes. Okay, you fixed. Okay, this person is poor, or this person will not be able to take this medicine, or this person will not. You start judging. Okay, this will start. Okay, and keep on running and running, and will not allow you to listen. So get present to your inner talking, which is not actually allowing you to listen to people, to your parents, okay, to your friends, to your in-laws. Sorry, what is it? All young here, sorry. Not in-law, future in-laws, I can say. Okay. So yes, that would be biggest talking there inside than outside.
So those are Indian genes. Indian
Okay.
genes.
Who said that? Isra? Who said that?
Yeah. I said it.
You said that? Okay. Your inner talking said to Isra. It must be Indian genes.
In-laws. I said it's Indian genes.
Yeah. Yes.
Guys,
Who
really
is
coming for the Indians.
So yeah, so if you see, Indian mother-in-laws itself has some listening, okay, even before speaking. And let me tell you, okay, that communication skill where you got from when I asked you that question. Imagine, like from childhood, we have been like people have been exposed to "Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi" serials, right? The saas will be like this, bahu will be oppressed, okay, and there will be kit. And that image of mother-in-law is already fixed in each one of you. Now bringing to the context of doctor-patient, the image of patient is fixed in you. One image could be patients are not empathetic, or patient doesn't respect doctors. This is a new listening we got created recently. We saw the video becoming viral. Everyone in India is watching that and creating an image of a doctor, and doctor is creating an image of a patient there. Saying to ourselves, patients are like this. Person there put his life or took that patient, admitted under his care, and what he got is all this: broken glass, broken image, pain, all people talking about him, his name in the news, all for the bad reasons, wrong reasons. Already the doctors are creating an image here about the patient, the patients are doing the same. So now, since we are the doctors, I would like to create something here. You have created an image of a patient already. Is my voice clear, Isra?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for confirming. Okay. So you have already created an image of a patient through which you are talking. So, Vasif, if your father is, you have an image that your father is not in a good mood, okay, and you will speaking through that to your father, to that view that you have about your father, and you get that result what you get. Okay, consider this is an imaginary or invisible barrier actually, which comes between a doctor and a patient. Be present to that. Be actually present to that. If you have so much of clutter already when the patient is sitting in front of you, telling, okay, this patient is poor, this patient is rich, this patient, I should do this. Like, I shouldn't do this, I should do this. All that. I learned about this. Okay, such a patient comes, I should be like this. All that already here, patient has not started even speaking out. Do you think you will be able to listen there? Is there anything to listen there? As human beings, we don't listen, guys. We don't listen.
And so I would like to address one more thing. And I think as humans, we have the habit of adapting ourselves to the person we see primarily. We completely keep transitioning the way we speak or the way we behave according to the person in front of us. Like you just addressed, if it's a father, it's a different behavior. If it's a mother, it's a different behavior. It's a different behavior.
That's one of the human
to the patient
behavior.
as well.
Yeah, good
And I
disrupt.
also think that accounts to basic human self-defense nature. Like we try to have a positive outcome. So in that self-defense, we already have a tiny prejudice that would prevent situations or bad experiences we already had. Like if we touch a hot plate and we get hurt, we don't touch the hot plate again. We touch it when it's cold. So
yeah,
I think it's important, but it somehow it gets over a point in our society, I think.
Yeah, consider everyone. You are not with the patient. Or if you see at your home also, you're not with the person fully out there. As if you're not with your father fully. There's a listening in between you and that gentleman. That is not allowing you to listen. Okay? So like I was sharing, human beings doesn't listen. Okay? They listen to their own comment or what they want to listen. Okay? Adapting all, defensing, whatever you have shared is inside of all that. Okay? So first exercise would be getting present to what is going on here and what will you do after getting to know? What will you do?
Put it on mute.
Right, let me put in mute. Button remote. Oh, now. Oh, nothing is going on here. Good. I like that creativity. Okay, let's take this exercise right now. We'll do 1 minute exercise, everyone. I want you all to close your eyes and be present to what is going on in your head right now. Whatever talk, just be present to that talk. Oh, the time is running up. Oh, what? Okay, let me see what I have to do next. So, I have a party today in the evening. What should I wear? Okay, whatever is coming up, let it come. Let it come. Be present to that. Don't fight it. Be with it. Be with it. I'll tell you when to stop. And then just keep observing what all is coming in your head. Before this call, whatever happened, something running already there. Or after this call, you have something scheduled. All right, thank you. Open your eyes now. Thank you. So let me tell you, whatever came up, okay, that's your running commentary going on and on. So that will not allow you to be fully in the present with the person who you are with. Okay. So just I'd like to hear from one of you who would like to share what you got present to. What you got present to during this exercise. What all went through your head? If you want to share. Anyone? be ready to be like getting present to something which you haven't been present to before. Yes.
One thing is how we think about what others think all the time instead of
Okay.
what's
Okay.
actually going on.
That you got present to.
Somehow, some sort of it, and the other thing was all the things I need to cover in the day and do so.
Yeah.
That's one nagging voice which is always there at the back of my mind.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good. So, what I'll give an access to what to do with that. Okay. Whatever was coming up, okay, acknowledge that. Just say, okay, I got that. Be present to that. And just come to nothing. Let's imagine a sheet of white paper, for example. Just come to nothing. And you will then have an opportunity to listen to people newly. Listen to people newly. Take this, write this down if you want to. Listen to people newly, even if it's your best friend from last 15 years, listen to the person newly in every conversation. You have your father, you have your parents, listen to them newly in every conversation. And be excited to discover what's coming up next after that. Okay? You will not be the same person because this is not coming in between you and that person. There's no view in between. There's no barrier between you and that person. You understand fully that person and that person understands you fully. And there is when we can talk about communication. The patient is in front of you. Let everything come in your head. Okay, just be present to it. Keep it aside. And then listen newly to the patient. What the patient has to say. All right? So now, after doing this exercise, okay, let me give you some communication tips from the patient's entry till he leaves. Maybe in hospital, he may get discharged and leave, or it may be in hospital OPD setup. They come and they leave the OPD setup. Okay, all right. So let's see in the entry what you need to do. Okay, step 1 is intention is to create a safe space where a patient is comfortable to share freely and also to build your own credibility. Okay, so if the patient comes in, you are responsible for creating a safe space such that the patient is comfortable to share freely. Okay, that is one. Sharing a safe space. That is where, Vasif, you would easily speak to your friend very casually, right? Because there's safe space around. He will not judge you by what you say, even if you say bad word also, right? So it's a safe space where you can share freely. The patient shares because the doctor needs to get every authentic information from the patient. And you need to provide that space, and you are responsible for that space, not the patient. Let me tell. How come one patient is free, telling freely everything about to one doctor and goes to another doctor and is speaking very less, okay, or is like inhibited, like to speak out, like I shared in the beginning, right? Not able, is not listening. He'll say, right? So the first step, creating a safe space. And being a discovery, how do I create that? That is your homework. How do I create a safe space to listen, or safe space to communicate with the patient? That is one. It's a lifelong discovery, guys. There's no right answer to it. There's no one answer to it. That is one. Okay. And then second is build your credibility. The way you introduce yourself, okay, the way like you speaking out, making the other person realizing he's trustworthy, I can rely on this person. Okay, I can share my private information with this person. So much of confidentiality is required by a doctor. You cannot tell it to your parents or a best friend also, not even your colleague sometimes. Okay, so that kind of confidentiality, he needs to have that kind of trust in you. Okay. That is the one step you need to be. One thing is, one axis is creating a safe space and credibility. Okay. For example, let me tell you, when I went to Australia to visit my brothers, I saw the doctors in the OPD, they coming out of their OPD room, okay, taking taking the file on the desk, telling, okay, Mr. Mr. Sampath, what's the name? Please come with me. He says that, and he's guiding the patient, sometimes with the hand also. He's holding the hand sometimes and taking the patient. If it's an elderly, holds the hand, okay, and takes him into the room and make him seated, like a waiter does in the restaurant. If you see, okay, and that way you feel, okay, oh my God, like how will you feel when someone puts a chair for you and makes you seated comfortably? You'll have an extraordinary experience, right? If I ask you, then imagine a doctor doing that. Does it make the doctor small? But there'll be some commentary. Don't worry. There'll be some commentary. Arey, kya kar raha? Arey, what he's doing? He's pura girja. Doctor reputation. Oh my God. Already always something going on here, and people saying to you something, okay, and you are influenced by that. Okay, so very critical. We give the extraordinary customer service to the patient. If required, move the chair, make him sit comfortable. Ask him, are you comfortable? Should I off the fan? Should I increase the fan? Make him fully present, comfortable. Just see his reaction, the patient's reaction. You will see. Okay, you yourself will feel good, right? So imagine the patient there. That is what is already going on in the country, in many countries. Okay, many are practicing in that way. That itself is empathy, guys. There's no need. That itself is allowing the treatment to even start before the patient speaks out the problem. The patient is seated comfortably, your space is created. Okay, the next step, if you see, okay, I'll give you one more example, the opposite of it. Okay, I saw like one of the waiting room. I was waited in a very big hospital when I was a bit few years back, and I saw there's a doctor has just entered, okay, the hall, and he's walking. They're all patients, his patients, seated there. He's just not even seeing that anyone, just goes in and sit in this room. And punches the ring or the bell, okay, for the nurse to send the patient in. Nurse, send the patient. Next. Okay, well, next, someone will be waiting on the door such that this patient will leave. Okay, so many gestures, creating like what the doctor is, what you are for the patient. Okay, so all these small gestures, like the people waiting in the waiting room, they'll be creating what kind of a doctor this is. Even though that doctor may not be intending that, or may not be aware that he's communicating in the way he's walking and not seeing the patients or not greeting the patients. Okay, what I would do is I'll go inside, I'll say Assalamu alaikum, how are the patient, like this, I'll greet the patients who are there. Okay, then I'll say, okay, I'll go inside, and then I call the person, can you come in? Okay, I also tried this, guys, really work going out of the room, asking the patient to come in. Like, patient itself is so humbled, and okay, oh my God, what, I never experienced this kind of a doctor, that kind of feeling. Okay, that we would love to have for them, right? Why not? Okay, then the patient is seated now in front of you. The next very important step is greet, tell, hello, namaste, assalamu alaikum, sat sri akal ji. And this every salutation is meaning respect. Okay, you are respecting the other person. So as per the patient, give the salutation to them, give the greetings to them. Okay, be fully. And that one word is actually also creating whole new safe space there and starting the treatment already. How come the patient says, if I go to that doctor, 50% of my treatment is already gone? You might have heard this, right? Majority of the symptoms already disappeared, they'll say. Okay, that what real experience that is. It's not just bluffing like that. They're not getting money for that, right? So just imagine why all this can be possible, guys. You can be that kind of a doctor. Okay. So after salutation with the patient, what you would ask is, okay, I would like to hear from one person. Because of the time, I'll ask one person. How would you start the conversation after you greet them? How would you ask them? Make it fast. Simple question. Just the patient is seated in front of you, and you're like, what question will you start with?
So usually what
What
I've
is
seen
your
doctors-
problem?
What is the problem,
Kind of.
Massive? Yeah, what Massive?
What you're going through.
Usually there's like
Going through.
two people or three people, especially if there's a kid. So you'll ask, who's the patient? And then you'll ask them what is their name.
Okay.
That usually makes them more comfortable. And you ask them, how are you feeling? They'll say, usually even if they're not feeling well, they say good or something. But even then you'll still ask them, so are you facing any problems? So from there you start diagnosis.
Yeah. If you see your loved ones, they'll say, right, on your phone when you're calling to your like sister or your cousin sister whom you're very close with, "Kaisi hai tu? How are you?" Like, "I'm fine." Like, so that question is really important also sometimes. So if you ask that patient, "How are you? How are you doing today?" If you ask, so Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well. Okay, but doctor, I have this problem. Okay, yes, that will come. I'm fine, good. That will come. That's also good. Let it come. Okay. I am. That will also come. That will also say, okay, I'm not well. That is why I'm here to you now. Accept that everything what is coming through your patient. Patient is like your king. Okay, treat that patient like a king or queen. That is the secret, guys. Okay. Then, when you ask a question, how are you doing? What brings you here? Maybe, or like, tell me about like also like Vasifa shared. You have some people along with the patient, right? Some kids. So have some toffees or some chocolates also. That also helps. The patient is a kid, for example, pediatric OPD if you're running or if you're there having a person with a kid, offer that chocolate to that kid. It really creates a whole new space for them. Oh, I'm in a clinic? No, I'm in a safe space. I can share everything and I get what I want. That kind of feeling that they'll get. Okay. Then next thing is you start listening. You stop this commentary, just like Vasif said, put it on mute and actually start listening to the person fully. Let them fully tell it out. Okay, not well. Body pains, generally. They're describing and describing. Let them put it out fully. Again, listen. Wait. Don't react. Don't start to stop it. Okay, let it flow. Let it flow. They will share only for 2 to 3 minutes if you actually see the time. It looks like hours sometimes. Like Isra said, grandmother starts speaking means it will take like, she'll continue speaking. If you like actually put the timer on and see, it's actually minutes. Okay. So listen fully, listen. Then if you want something like pain in the hand, okay, is it radiating to the inside? If you're asking, then which will ask questions which will add that. Okay, add to your history taking and to coming closer to the diagnosis and removing the differential like which it could not be, not heart attack, not acidity, like that. Okay, keep on asking when you need. Okay, let them first speak out. Then very important tip which you'll not get anywhere else, guys. Okay, ready? After listening, recreate what the patient has just told you. He has spoken some 3 to 4 symptoms or more than that. One by one, as it is. Practice. You'll get to recreate exactly as it is when you practice, guys. So practice recreating. So every symptom, like from the beginning, what the patient, you said, okay, you have pain in your head, in your arm. You also have pain in your stomach. It's not getting well. Since 5 days you are saying, right? Okay, just recreate as it is. That will let the patient know that you got it completely. You heard completely first, and then the patient will understand, okay, this person can treat me now. Now that patient, I'm telling you, it's a magical cure when you actually recreate them. The patient, whatever you have created, like recreated, the headache, the pains and everything, that will start disappearing. I'm telling you, when you start that means the patient is coming to like, yes, this is what I told. Wow, he has heard everything of me. Thank you, he'll say. All right, great. So the time is 5:30. Is it okay if we extend for a few more minutes? I don't know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. So
If there
the patient is about
any
to
queries,
leave also.
If there are any queries, please list it down in the chat box regarding the timings. But I feel like it's fine if you extend it for more 20 minutes.
If it doesn't work for you, you can also leave, guys. Okay, it's totally fine. So when you are with the patient and you're listening and you're starting recreating whatever the patient has told to you, you're telling it out and you're then recording. So there's one big mistake many of the physicians do. Immediately when the patient starts speaking, their eyes are like this. Okay, they start writing. Like, I'm writing what you're saying, but you're not listening. Remember, okay? Make the eye contact. Make the eye contact when the patient is speaking out. Okay. So yes, after you make that contact, the patient starts speaking. Listen everything. If you have doubt, something you missed, you will miss. I'm telling you. In the beginning, you will miss. If the patient says 4 things, you will remember 2 things or 3 things. You'll miss out 1. Good that you're missing, that you know that you're not listening. You'll be present to that, and you'll be more focused on listening to the person then. All right. So when you start repeat everything, say them, I got you completely. Okay, and then write it down, record it in your prescription as it is. Don't write in a medical terminology. Remember, chief complaints to be written in the patient's language. You know a lot. That's the problem. So write in the patient's language. Okay. Keep on writing and since when. Okay. Onset, duration, progress, relieving factors, aggravating factors. As per that, keep on deriving the history and come closer to the diagnosis. That kind of training you will be getting in your MBBS. Okay, guys, no doubt about it. In every college you are, it is the best you will get from the faculty there. Okay. My job is to fully be present with the patient and have that communication even start. Okay, actually being set up such way, it is such open free space that you are effective in your clinical skills. Okay, and you have that kind of outcome that you want or your patient wants also. Okay, so after you recreate, let us see the next step. You discuss the medical issues there. Okay, what I do for some patients is they say there's a pain in the neck and it's radiating, like it's like the whole thing is paining. It started here and it's paining. So I'll draw the diagram backside. Okay, I'll show this is your neck. There are the bones here. Sometimes the nerves which extends from the center of your neck and it goes down to your arm and the hand. Okay, sometimes people will have here some problem in this area, which may require some medicines or some procedures for some time. Okay, and we may need to investigate this further and learn about what is actually going inside. We'll come to the actual picture. I totally got what you said. I'll be giving you medicine. It will take care of it for some time. But when we know the source, what the actual problem is, we will be able to actually deal with it perfectly from the root like that. So in that way, even the patient is convinced that this investigation is good for me and this doctor is not writing an investigation to earn money or something else. All that is taken care of. Okay, guys? Is this part also clear? So when you can take this in practice also, drawing and showing what the problem is, so the person also like visualizes actually, okay, this is what is happening to me. He's right. He's the same place and he's talking about. He's drawing there. Okay. Or sometimes you get a report of ultrasound of like renal calculi measuring 5 millimeters and 6 millimeter on upper pole or the lower pole. You can draw a kidney there. Nice. You have been practicing right from the first year MBBS. For what? For the examiner. Okay. Now draw it for the patients now. Okay. Draw a nice kidney there. And then put the round stone. Okay, the stone is here. It may go out and cause a problem because the pipe is very small. It cannot pass it if it is more than 5 millimeter. Make him understand if there is a need of surgery. That is the place. Many people avoid that. Okay, when they have and they get complications. They come very late, and the first opportunity which was with you may be missed, and that complication could have been totally avoided and prevented. Okay. So discuss the report in detail with the patient. Patient has given money, guys, for that report. Okay. It's not like if I ask you, just get yourself checked for like if you're a doctor, right? So you need to know about your blood group. You need to know about like sometimes you are working in some high exposure areas of HIV patients or surgeries. So sometimes you may need to find that report also. Okay. Or COVID-19. Okay. If you're just, would you just be ready for the test, or will you be ready for the test as such? No, right? So even consider the patient there sitting who is written a battery of tests, like a number 1, 2, 3, 4, several tests, okay, given for that patient. How will that patient be? Okay, so for that, totally after you get the report also, give that time. CVP has some like 15 things put in there, complete the picture itself. Okay, the patient will first go through it before you. Do you know that? He's paid for that. He'll go through you. He'll make his own view about that report. He'll ask the receptionist there of the lab whether it's normal or abnormal first. Then he will plan. He'll think about him by himself. He'll judge it. It may be abnormal. Okay, and then the doctor is seeing. The third person is seeing actually. Okay, then you are seeing the report. You go through it and explain each one. Don't scare also. Sometimes you like don't elaborate. The sugar is so high. Oh my God, where have you been? Have you like, why are you coming so late? Kya hai sugar hai? 300? Are you kidding? So hold yourself, guys. Hold yourself. Okay. Just read out the report as it is first and say, okay, this is no. He also knows. He has seen the normal range there. He knows it is high. Okay, when it's more than 140, he knows it's very high also. Okay, the patient, if you say that, it will confirm more, and he'll go into depression, guys. He will need a psychiatrist also. Then next, one you're treating, for example, diabetes, then he may need a psychiatrist. Okay, so just be patient. Don't exaggerate anything. Say as it is. That's why. Okay, your test report is so much, so and so. The normal range is this much. Okay, this needs to be controlled. If this is not controlled, there are complications which are expected. Okay, for which you need to control this well. We will control. Then give your role there. We will control this together. We will make this in the normal range. Okay, don't worry. Okay, but you need to follow my advice. Okay, you need to be taking the medicine as I say, and there will be some lifestyle modifications like exercise, nutrition that you need to take on. Okay, so be very, very clear and offer that support. He's not paying you to just listen all those blunt words. What the hell you are doing in these days? Why did you go to that party and eat so many sweet? Okay, already his family members, wife also might have told that. Okay, you are some like 5th or 6th person who is telling that to him. He is not paying you for that. Okay, So be very polite, say as it is, not giving any significance, like exaggerating. I'm saying, yes, it is bad, the report is bad, but you need to say, with this report, if it continues, what are the complications expected if it doesn't control it? Then you will automatically accept what you're saying. All right. And finally, also inquires some very interesting tip, like Vasif, I told you, maybe with the children there along with the patient, offer them chocolates like that. Ask, like, who is there with you in your family? Sometimes just one question about family opens the whole world, like, he's interested in me, I'm important for this doctor. Okay, that kind of question opens several things. So when that is one access for you guys. So when before he leaves, just inquire, like or before, in the beginning itself, also to build a safe space, you can ask this question, like who else is there in your family? How are they doing? Are they fine? Right. So these questions opens whole new world for people, creates a new world for people, and see the doctor as a person who is sitting there, who is thinking, I'm important for that person. And yes, I will be getting the cure this place. I'll not have to go to many doctor shopping, maybe. Okay. Okay, so and the doctor leaves, say goodbye. Yes, from the beginning, at the end, you need to thank that person for coming as such. He's paying you and coming to you. Okay, because of him, you are getting your income also. He is a source of income for you. So I'm not saying the context, have the context of he being source of income for you. No. Telling you need to acknowledge for that, at least thank him for coming. Okay, and say when he needs to follow, when is the next follow, please schedule it in your calendar or put an alarm for that, such that you don't miss it, so that we can take care better and control this thing in a much better way. Okay, that is from the entry of the patient to the exit of the patient, what all you can do, what can you bring in your practice, and be effective in your consultations. Okay, so there is so much of learning. Okay, there is so much of communication skills courses. There's so much of materials on the internet. Okay, all theoretical also maybe. Okay, but the real learning is on the court in the OPD room with your patient. Now, great that you have access in your medical college whenever you have the opportunity. Good that you don't know Telugu. Say that, Mohit, to that patient. Sir, I am from Rajasthan. Okay, I am a medical student here, and I don't know Telugu very well. So I'll be having a friend with me who will be helping me. Okay. So whatever is that, you can share freely out. If I don't know, I'll ask you to repeat. Okay, I'm also learning this language. Okay, you can be very authentic with your patient. Don't hide. People will know automatically. Or else they will assume that you're not interested. Okay, Mohit, if you're just silent and the patient he says the history, the patient may make an assumption that this doctor is not interested, just nodding his head. Okay. Are you getting some access, Mohit? And it's good. You have a very good time, actually. You know, even like Isra said, I even didn't knew Telugu language so well. My college was in Karimnagar, so that they have that slang also added up, which is not like easy Telugu to understand also. So I had wonderful friends with me, and in the period of 5 years, I could learn the language. I could understand really well. And after that, when I started out, also I was in touch with my friends who taught me that, such that I always used to communicate in Telugu with them, such that I improvised, and they gave me that feedback also. So with that way, I really could understand now and also speak very well in Telugu with my patients. It's very important for you as a skill, okay, as a very important skill, that you cannot say that at the end of the MBBS, okay, I didn't learn this language. Okay, it's like must. There's something which are like must for you. Okay, it's like you can be like, wow, I'm getting to learn a new language. Wow, Okay, we have that kind of context along with you while learning. Okay, and definitely you will learn. It's a lifelong learning, guys. Okay, don't worry, don't worry. That's why we say it's a practice. If you know, when you say a doctor, I'm practicing medicine, I'm practicing as a diabetologist, it is like lifetime practice. There's no full stop there. The word itself is practice. Practicing, you're not, after this, you improvise in the next visit. Improvise yourself in the next visit as a doctor, as a physician, as a healer. Okay? So take it on. Be very happy that you are in this field first. Okay? Thank yourself for choosing this. I know some people may have, like, the parents might have thought, my son should be a doctor and let me put him in that. Good. Thank your parents, guys. Really be happy. Really go today and hug your parents. Thank you for having this available for me in the first place, being a healer for this world. You are going to heal people, guys, in the future, who are going to heal, starting from your family. The family is so lucky to have you. A doctor in your home. Wow. People are like searching, waiting in lines, and you're already there. Okay. So create that kind of listening, that who you are. Okay. You are your son for your father, Vasif, right? Correct? Always, you will be son only. Don't worry. You will not be treated as a doctor. Okay? Get that. You'll never be treated like a doctor. I can say for myself. Okay? You will get plenty of advices on medicine also sometimes in your medical field also. Be ready for that also. Okay? Listen. Keep listening, guys. Don't add so much of significance to things. Okay? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Okay? So my takeaway for you all for this session would be, first, identify what is there in your listening about that person. Get it, put it aside, and start with the empty white page. Start listening for something new. Start listening newly. That is one you need to practice very well. Okay. Then practice recreation. So for that, you can do some nice exercise with each other. I thought if we had a room of, like, we have breakout rooms, right? So like that, if we had time, we would put you in breakout rooms and you would practice with each other, like recreation. So hello, how are you? I've come with so-and-so pain here, and so-and-so this. So the same way, the other person would mock back and say, oh, I get that you have a pain here, and like that. Okay, for instance, so on. So not only in context of doctor or physician or patient conversation, you can recreate whatever you are listening to right now after this call. You'll be speaking to your friends, maybe you'll be speaking who is nearby. You have your brothers, siblings, your friends, your family, mother, father. Just practice recreation, guys. How about that? By the time you go to the patient, you'll be master in recreation. That is the secret, guys. That is the secret of disappearing symptoms for patients. Patient comes to know that you got their symptoms. Symptoms no more there. There's something else now too. Something that is taken aside now. Just like you have seen you have seen all what you have inside you, kept it aside. That way they are also hearing what they have said just now to you. And they could put it aside actually. And that gives an opportunity to disappear the symptoms. That is why people experience disappearance of symptoms when they speak to some doctors. Okay, so be that doctor. Be the doctor for the patient. Be the doctor of patients. I remember one of my senior colleague here, Dr. Rahul sir, which I really try to follow him or idolize also. He says, I'm a patient's doctor. So we have like all faculty about, right? So I'm patient's doctor. Call me that. Okay. So be a patient's doctor with patients. All right. So that is for this. I hope many of you got your answers. Many of you were expecting more. Many of you had some other queries also. Indirectly, I hope this will answer in having this kind of limited time session that we had. I hope your practice or your view of how to practice, how to be empathetic, okay, how to handle situations will definitely be very easy for you in future. Okay, if we can have several such sessions on different topics with different experts, with this IMA-MSN, wonderful organization, wonderful space that you have created here. Use this space, guys. Use this space to create something larger than you can imagine. Right now, the doctors recently, like I know that 2 days back, we had this on Friday, right? The protest, National Protest Day, right? So you could be that voice, you could be a bigger voice. You can not only protest is seen something in having a view now again about protest, right? So something new you can create. There's something new, such way you are heard. Okay? Your voice is heard. Be visible, guys. Start being visible now. People will see you when you start being visible. Okay? Anything you want to share before we end this session?
Actually, sir, if you don't mind, like if anybody has any questions, could you please answer them? If anybody could speak up.
Yes,
if they
yes,
have
yes,
questions.
please, yes. Questions, please.
It will be only, since we've exceeded the time, it will be only for the questionnaire session will be only for 10 minutes. We would like people who have queries to unmute themselves and quickly present your questions because we are running out of time.
Also, are every person here members of IMA-MSN?
Yes, everyone is a member of.
Wow. If not, you can like give that opportunity to people to join IMA-MSN who are not. Okay. Yes, please. Questions? Anyone?
So one question from my side is, usually doctors, whenever, especially if we consider a scenario with a general physician, so there are some situations in which the patient needs specialized care or higher treatment, and that is beyond your capabilities or beyond your scope. So how do you suggest that to the patient and prevent the patient from losing trust in the diagnosis, and like how do you convey that for them to pursue secondary or tertiary care?
Superb, Basit. Good question actually. When to refer? Okay, the need for referral is there. He needs a specialist care, and how to communicate that, and not think that the patient will think that this doctor is not able to diagnose it. That's why he's sending to other patient. Okay, how to do that? Good. So first thing, the patient is not saying that to you in the first place. So even before you know that you have to write a referral to a consultant other than you, there's some already going on here. What will the patient think if I write, okay, go to this so-and-so doctor? Already this has made up its mind. And the patient will speak up that only sometimes. So you are creating a clearing here already. You're creating something here already. Okay, be present to that. So just like I said, listening newly. Okay, that when you take that on, the patient is fully with you, and when you share anything, like you're sharing that, you need a consultant which is specializing in neurology. Okay, and he will be able to rightly give the medicine for it. Okay, without giving significance to what the patient is thinking or what you are thinking also. You're saying as it is, what is required first. Okay, and not going into guilt mode also. Okay, I should have said in some other way such that the patient, whether this patient will come back to me or not, or the patient is losing trust over me by me telling that, put all that aside. Okay, just be with the patient, and when you have that space already created now, like I'm telling you, I just created with the patient by drawing, okay, and saying this is the issue. You may need an orthopedic. Like when X-ray comes, I just draw that X-ray, small like an anatomy there, and draw that there, or like the kidney there, you need a surgery. You are not the surgeon, for example, and you are referring to a urologist to do the surgery for the renal stone, example. You are suggesting that person and guiding, actually. You are being a guide to them. The patient will be very thankful to you, actually. You guide to the right person, or else the person doesn't know whom to go. He'll go to a nephrologist, he'll go to again a general medicine, he'll go to a BUMS medicine also sometimes, because some people said he cured renal stones. Okay, he will keep on going so many people. So there's no right way, Vasif, first of all. There's no right way. Always there's a new way. Okay, it may work, it may not work. It's okay. Okay, and you're practicing, right? And you're practicing. So you convey in a way that the person understands the importance. If that is not taken care, if it doesn't go to a place who specializes that, this could be a complication which we can prevent. So I advise you right away go to that doctor who is a very good person. Create something good also for your colleagues, guys. Okay. Sometimes people will think like he's referring, matlab, he'll get some commission from the doctor for referring. So for that reason also, be like create something good about the doctor. Okay, he is a doctor means he's got through what you are going through now, grilled for this 5.5 years, then doing some masters for 3 years, some do something else also on that. So much of training, attending so many things. For whom? For the patient. And when you're referring to that doctor, say something very great about him, which the person like starts seeing that way. When he goes to that urologist, he'll start, wow, so Dr. Vasif has sent me to you, sir. He was saying so great words about you. He starts beginning from there, maybe. And the whole new relationship between that doctor and you is already created, and that patient is also now already the trust is built by you. Because you trust that doctor and you're sending to that person. And the patient already started trusting the doctor and the treatment has started. And if there are complications also, it really helps, guys. I'm telling you, that trust really helps. The patient accepts the complications. There will be complications, guys. Nobody is perfect. Appendicitis, very easy surgery, very common surgery by a general surgeon. Sometimes it goes wrong. Okay, tonsillitis, sometimes it can go wrong. You need to take that responsibility. Like, yes, it went wrong. So what? Let me correct it and convey to the person. Okay. So, does it answer you, Asif, on the question?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. It was very well answered.
Anyone else? Wow, I see still people are here. Wow. White paper before talking, but it's obvious that. Okay, let me see the whole message. Okay, so I have said that it should be like a white paper before talking to a patient, but it's obvious that the patient to whom we have spoken earlier will have an impact on us and many other things have impact that will obviously affect how we deal with patients, what to do. Okay, thank you for that question, Wahida, first of all. Yes, so there is a context from which I'm speaking about creating a white paper. Okay, like imagining a white paper is whatever you know about the patient, not talking about about the renal stone he has before he is coming to you. Okay, second visit, and you're telling, let me put a white paper, and there's no renal stone. Let me hear newly. No, you know that. Okay, but the way you're starting listening is all that what is inner talking that will start talk. Okay, is coming for the second visit. If I ask him some more tests now, he will not come to me at all. Maybe. Or all those talkings that you get, all those conversations that you get, be present to that. But whatever you know about the patient, okay, about the facts, what the actual reality is, that is what is so. That will be there. Does it answer, Vahida? All right.
Yes, sir.
Last question we'll take. Is it okay, Isra, if we take this last question? Okay. Could you share one last interesting story from your real life experience where effective communication saved the day? All right. Okay. So yes, breaking bad news is one important topic which actually needs practice. Okay. For example, okay, I am like attending a patient who is COVID affected. Okay, and the relatives are out there, and the person is not improving. Okay, and there are some relatives who are shouting on the top of their voice, like saying, hospitals are making money, people inside, no one is alive there, just they have put some machines wantedly to make money. All that is going on, and there's one person I'm taking care of with, because I know that person is one of the relative. So I communicate when I come out and see immediate relatives and far relatives all standing there. Some are reacting, some are not, some are silent. So I communicate by saying, okay, I'm Dr. Sarosh. Okay, those who don't know me, the far relative one, for example, was shouting on the top wall. I said there, look, I'm Dr. Sarosh. Okay, he's like my father, who's getting treated here. Okay, and I know I have seen the treatment here, and everything that is required for him is being done. Please don't react. Okay, trust your doctor and support your doctor as well. Okay, and then immediately I could see the change in the people's behavior that was visible. The people who were shouting on the top of their voice actually like saw there's some person here actually taking that person as a family member. Could you say that? Yes, you need to create that, and you actually need to feel that also. Okay. Okay. So the question is, in this case, how you talk to the next patient changes. We can't talk in the same way calmly. Right. So next patient. Okay. So I'm telling you, you are living in this world. There are two ways to speak. One, okay, I should be very polite to patients. Other, I should be like, no, I shouldn't be polite to the patients. Okay, this is not so. This is not reality, guys. Okay, there's nothing like polite, non-polite in this life. Okay, you just have to be there with the person and communicate. Automatically, the words will go out. Do you think all the doctors who are the senior doctors who have complications, who after the surgery they have lost their patient, okay, how would they communicate? Do they know how to communicate to that person, to the relative of that person, that just now I've done the operation and sorry I couldn't save the life? Okay, so every time it's a practice, something will come out when you are with the person. So my coaching for you, if you want to take and make your communication effective, is be with the other person. Totally be with the other person. What the person is saying, listen without this clutter. Identify this clutter, put aside, listen newly, recreate, and be with that person, and wait for that magic to happen. All right, Isra. If you want, you can take questions in your group also later. If you want, you can post. I'll be happy to answer later. Okay, Isra?
So that brings us to an end of this wonderful and enlightening session. So on behalf of IMA-MSN Telangana and all of the participants in our entire team, I thank Dr. Sarosh sir for sharing his insights and knowledge with us today. Having good communication skills and the right approach towards any patient is of utmost importance. And Dr. Sarosh sir has helped us a lot in improving ourselves in this direction. I thank all of the participants for joining us today. And once again, I thank you, Dr. Sarosh sir. Thank you for this amazing session.
I'm coming.
Thank you so much. Everyone is so generous to listen putting those 2 hours aside to be in this session. I really acknowledge you all actually. Thank you so much for being in this session. Thank you. It was a great time with you all. Wonderful participation I could see with each one. Thank you. You have contributed. I'm telling these are life lessons. You will be taking this for your life and applying this, and that will make a difference, inshallah. Thank you. See you in future if possible. Okay. Take care. Bye. I hope you can. Can we have a feedback, Isra? Like, you have anything like a Google
No,
form?
sir,
Anything?
we'll let you know. We'll let you know regarding the feedback.
Yes, it's important. Feedback is really important. From your patients also, take a feedback. Okay, how was the last checkup for you? Ask that indirectly also if you want. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you. I'll not stop speaking if you allow me. Okay, then. Take care. Goodbye. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you so much.
Great time. Yes, yes. Thank you for being here.